Hey everyone, Stuart here. Today we're going to talk about stopping the OPT clock. And I'm hanging out here in my house where the OPT clock is not ticking for my students because we have learned how to effectively stop the clock from ticking. This is also known as the OPT grace period clock or the OPT grace period. If you haven't, please like and subscribe to this channel so you get those notifications and you get important, possibly life-changing advice exactly when you need it. The OPT clock is this concept of once you graduate and have declared a OPT start date, you have 90 days to get a job, typically for 1 year OPT, F1 visa holder. You have 90 days or X period of days to find a job. And if you use that time in your job hunt and it runs out, you must leave the country. So, and that 90-day clock is cumulative. So if you get a job and use 10 days of the OPT grace period clock, you lose that job, you have remaining, say, 80 days to find a job. What happens for most international students is they do these graduation and job hunting things in sequence. And so they focus exclusively on graduation and grades and let the job hunt thing slide. And if you are in the United States now or considering coming to the United States, what I want most for you is to never have to ever experience the stress associated with the OPT grace period clock, meaning you get interviews and offers long before you graduate, and this whole grace period clock is never an issue. So what happens then if you have graduated, you have your OPT, your EAD card is in hand, and this clock is ticking? What to do in order to be effective as a job hunter? Well, the first thing to do, I recommend, is to stop the clock. And you can stop that. And surprisingly few people know this. You can stop that by getting any kind of volunteer job and having an offer letter submitted for that volunteer work to your university. Once your university receives that, your SEVIS record will be updated through the system that the university plugs into, and your OPT grace period clock will stop. And then you can go about conducting the job hunt for the job that you do want to have. Now, I'm not an attorney and I'm not giving you legal advice. And there could be some, caveats to this general process here. However, that's generally how it works. And of course, students in my program are going to be able to benefit from all kinds of resources to make sure that they've stopped the clock in the appropriate way. But generally speaking, no, be aware that any volunteer job will stop the OPT clock. And then you can go about conducting a job hunt in such a way where you have the time, where you can really lead a structured search with some sort of focus. Because the case of feeling like you have no time is extremely stressful. You lose the ability to focus. You tend to try to find just any job. And you can imagine that that might be actually a little bit more difficult than finding a job that you love, because finding just any job means you might not be engaged with what that job does. And it can be harder for you to sell yourself to that employer when you're just about you stopping the OPT clock or just about you getting sponsorship. So 2 steps: stop that OPT clock through a volunteer opportunity, and then conduct that proper job hunt. Now, my 12-week career accelerator is designed exactly for this kind of situation. Members of my program, if their OPT clock is ticking, we get that stopped, we find the right opportunity, and then move into the formal job hunting phase where you do have the time. But whether you work with a coach or not, give yourself the gift of that time. Stop that OPT clock, and if you need to, you can use that time on the OPT, the 12 months, to conduct your job hunt and start working. So for example, in the case of my student Alvin, Alvin was a master's in finance student at a university here in the Midwest, and he took probably 2 months out of his OPT to find the job. And working with me, he got the offer at JP Morgan in New York City, working as an analyst on the portfolio side with the wealth management team there. So yes, it took him some time. He had to figure it out during the OPT, but here's the thing, he had the time. He was able to stop the OPT clock and conduct a focused job hunt. So know that you can stop the OPT clock. You can go out and get a volunteer job and an offer and submit that to your university to stop the clock. Thanks for watching. Please join my channel, like and subscribe so I can send you more awesome content. And thank you for all of you who have been sending me in these questions and requesting specialized videos. I've been able to act on that. And it's such a privilege to be able to do that. So all for now.